In today's video, we're going to talk about the second most powerful spiritual technique that I've found that can help you to get a job. And before the video starts, I just want to encourage you to consider clicking that subscribe button, giving us a big thumbs up for service by clicking the like button, and also consider ringing the notification bell. That way you will be notified of each and every time we post a new video, and you could be one of the first people to see it. So with that said, let's get to our video. Again, the second most powerful spiritual technique that I've found to help somebody get a spiritual job. So stay tuned. Hey, welcome. My name is Jay in Baltimore, Maryland, and I want to welcome you to the Financial UA General Service Office. So come on in and grab a seat, and let's get this meeting started. This is the second video in a three-part series where we look specifically at using spiritual techniques to help people get a job. We want to present three different spiritual techniques. In the first video, which if you want you can click here for that video, we presented the idea of learning how to ask for help, how to ask for what you need, and to specifically direct that request to the spiritual earning power as it shows up within a meeting. This is the second technique that we're now going to focus on, and we have a third technique which is even more crazy and more powerful in how efficient and effective it is in connecting a person with their earning power in a higher power setting to help them to get a job. The reason why these techniques are really effective is because they combine the idea of using a technique with the idea of channeling power. So when you take a technique that is the application of good information and you combine it with very potent higher power, preferably in the form of earning power, you get a technique saturated with power, and that's what we can use to really make some interesting things happen in this world. I want to present to you the idea that the reason why financial under-earners have such great difficulty with getting a job and developing their prosperity is because they're disconnected from their earning power, and they're also disconnected from their ability to channel the greater higher power, convert it into earning power, and then channel that out into the world in the form of prosperous actions, prosperous decisions, and that crackle of energy that allows them to attract prosperous opportunity to them. The entire Financial UA program is designed to help people to reconnect their inner self with their higher power, with their earning power, and in that way they create healthy bridges between God, money, and spirituality. By working the Financial UA program, using the tools, working the steps, working within a spiritual team setting, the financial under-earner can become empowered to channel power very abundantly, and that power allows them to then take prosperous actions that otherwise they might completely avoid taking. As a financial under-earner begins to channel more earning power and have that power flow through them, they will naturally and very organically develop more confidence, more experience, and a sense of organic attraction where they start attracting prosperous opportunities to themselves, as well as naturally gravitating toward prosperous opportunities. And what eventually happens is when the opportunity has been prepared and the financial under-earner has been prepared, they organically and spiritually move closer and closer and closer to each other until they connect. And then you finally have this wonderful moment where the financial under-earner makes this breakthrough and gets this excellent job, this excellent opportunity to develop themselves and channel their prosperity and build their prosperity in the most surprising and unexpected yet most delightful of ways. So to summarize, the whole goal of all of these techniques I want to share with you is the idea that when a financial under-earner is disconnected from earning power, they basically run down to a halt. They just slow down, and eventually they stop and lose their ability to take action. They lose their ability to earn, to save, to generate income, or to take positive actions which lead to prosperous results. When a financial under-earner is disconnected from their power source, they basically start to shut down. So the purpose of the Financial UA program is to reconnect a financial under-earner with their power source so that they can then use that power to energize and empower themselves to achieve success and make really positive things happen. So, one of the best ways and best tools that we have to set that in motion is to work with a team. Financial UA has a really strong emphasis on the idea of working with a team. When you work with a team, you multiply your power. If it were just you channeling earning power, you could maybe generate or channel a certain amount of power. When you surround yourself with a team, the ability to generate and channel earning power is multiplied by however many people are on your team. So if you could generate 100 units of earning power by surrounding yourself with a team of 2 other people, so now there are 3 of you, where once you could channel 100 units of earning power, now you can channel 300 units of earning power, and usually a little bit extra, because the amount of power that gets channeled ends up being greater than the sum of the individuals who are trying to help channel it. So if each person channels 100 units of earning power, and there are 3 people, you'd think there'd be a total of 300 units of power being generated and channeled. But it actually works more to your benefit, because when we invite in our higher power, because this is a spiritual process after all, the higher power increases and magnifies the power that each of us channel. So let's use another example. If you have a team of 5 people, yourself included, and each person generates 100 units of earning power, you would expect to have 500 units total. But if those 5 people create and hold a spiritual space and invite a higher power to be in that space with them, the higher power, as it shows up, will add extra power to the team. So instead of the 500 units of power that 5-person team is generating, you actually end up with maybe 700 or 800 units of power, because when higher power shows up, it always brings a lot of extra energy, and everybody in the group feels it, and then the power that's generated is so abundant that there's enough for everybody to take a little extra home with them, as well as the person in the middle of that channeling circle, and they get all the power they need plus extra, and they can use that power to then get a job. So again, when you use a small team of people and you have them get together to support you, all of you together can create and hold space for healing and recovery, but you can also begin the process of inviting in and channeling higher power, and then converting the higher power into earning power. And the person who most needs that power can absorb as much as they want until they feel truly full and fortified of earning power and higher power. Of course, they'll then feel very confident, very empowered, very strong on the inside, and they can go out into the world with that power to take really positive actions in a bold, confident, and courageous way. And when they take those actions, the world feels the power behind the actions. And the world takes notice of that person and says, wow, you really have a lot going on. You have a lot of power. You're clear about the actions you're taking. You're clear about what your intention is, and you're channeling all this power. And then the world will surrender to you. The world will open itself up and give you the opportunity to have the job that you're looking for, or the job that can best fit what you have to offer. So as you go out into the world, channeling your power, the power you channel will push bad opportunities out of your way, and that power will pull and attract the right opportunities to you. So don't be discouraged by the idea that certain opportunities or situations seem to be pushed out of your way, that the more you move towards them, the more they seem to be repelling themselves from you. That's completely normal. The more power you channel, the more that power has a tendency to push aside situations and opportunities that are not right for you. But at the same time, that power will begin to attract and bring to you the very opportunities that you're looking for. And then it's just a matter of making sure that you have prepared yourself and learned the skills and have the support that you need so that when you do get that prosperous opportunity, you can make the most of it. There are a lot of people in recovery who they finally get the job of their dreams only to find out that they can't keep the job of their dreams because they never did enough work on themselves. And so what happens is their inner self and their character defects sabotage the job of their dreams. So in Financial UA, how we approach this is a balanced approach. We focus on making sure that the recovering financial under-earner does the appropriate inside work on themselves so that they're ready on the inside, and we help them channel this power, this earning power, so that as they move into the world and they get the job that's the best fit for them, once they get that job, they can hold on to that job because they're ready on the inside and the job is ready on the outside, and when the two come together, it's a match made in recovery.
Now it's time for our 7th tradition. Every Financial UA meeting ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. There are no dues or fees for Financial UA membership. All of our meetings and workshops are completely free to attend, both over the phone and face-to-face. Please keep in mind that we do have expenses, such as covering the cost of our website, developing new literature, and maintaining our service office. If you would like to make a 7th Tradition donation, you can click the PayPal link below or visit our website at financialua.org and click the Donate button. You may also support this program by purchasing a copy of our Financial UA 12-Step Workbook or our Financial UA 12 Traditions Workbook. Also, you can help us carry the message by subscribing to this channel, and even by sharing this video with your sponsor or your sponsee. Lastly, please consider clicking that like button and giving us a big thumbs up for service.
So let's talk about how do you set up a small group. And what we're talking about is building a team of people that are specifically dedicated to helping you achieve your prosperous goal and vision. Now, this is what Technique 2 is all about. The strategy for how to set up your small team or, your recovery group. Some great ways to do that are to use some of the tools that we already have laid out. Now, Financial UA has a pretty friendly relationship with all other 12-step programs, and we emphasize the idea that if there's a tool that another 12-step fellowship has, and that tool is a good tool and can help you, and if you can make use of that tool, Financial UA wants to support you with using that tool. So we encourage and support our members to use any kind of recovery literature or tools, no matter what fellowship they come from, as long as they serve you. We want to support you with doing that. So let's start talking about the tools that the various fellowships can offer you, and these tools are also strongly emphasized in Financial UA. The first tool that can really help you with setting up your small group is a pressure relief group. Now, a pressure relief group or a pressure relief meeting is a tool that was first developed by Gamblers Anonymous, and then it was absorbed into Debtors Anonymous, and then over time, that tool was then absorbed and modified by Under-Earners Anonymous to change from a pressure group to a action group. So really, it's the same tool all the way through all these different fellowships, and its basic core is the same, that you would work with a small team that is dedicated to helping you develop your solvency, develop a plan, focus on your pressures, and take actions. All for the purpose of helping you in this situation to get a job, to get a better job, a more prosperous job, and ultimately your spiritual vision job. The way to set up a pressure relief group is to build your pressure relief team. And this goes for an action group or action team. It also works for a prosperity group or a prosperity team. Again, these are all just different phrases that really refer to the same structure of a couple of people who are coming together to support you to help you accomplish a specific purpose, all within a spiritual recovery setting. So, to develop a PRG, a pressure relief group, you would build your pressure relief team. Ideally, you would pick 2 people, a man and a woman, although it doesn't have to be that way. Really, the best 2 people to choose are 2 people who can be available to you. Under ideal circumstances, you would pick a woman and a man. That way, you would have a balance between genders and the differences in perspectives that different genders have when they look at various problems or opportunities. And in an ideal situation, both of your pressure relief team members will have significant amounts of solvency and prosperity, and they will be living their ideal life as best as they know how. And you would be inviting them to be your balanced coaches to walk you through your process of spiritual and financial evolution. A lot of people get frustrated with the process of trying to find the perfect people to be a part of their pressure relief team, action team, or prosperity team. So here's a quick formula about how to deal with perfection. Because even in recovery, it's often difficult to find people whose recovery is at an optimal level. So sometimes you would need to make some choices to find people who are good enough. And that means people who are present and available to help you, because nobody's going to be a perfect candidate if they can't be available to help you. So it doesn't matter how good a candidate might be to be a part of your team. If they can't be available for you, what's the point? They're not the ideal person to be a part of your team. The ideal person is somebody who can be available to you, and that they meet a reasonable number of the criteria necessary to offer a pressure relief meeting or an action meeting for you. And generally, these criteria are that your candidates have been in recovery for a reasonable period of time and they know their way around the recovery process. Additionally, they would have had at least 90 days of not incurring new unsecured debt, which means they may be in debt, but at least they're not taking on new debt. And lastly, that they have received at least 2 pressure relief groups for themselves, because we can only give away what we have already received. So it's important that your candidates have spiritual experiences of their own before they start trying to contribute to helping you achieve your spiritual experiences. So you can look for candidates to possibly offer you a PRG or action meeting or prosperity team, and you can look for those candidates in fellowships such as Debtors Anonymous, Under Earners Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, Financial Under Earners Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous. Really, any fellowship will work as long as those individuals are open to the idea of being of service to you, and they're available and willing to show up for you to help you with your process. I can say from my own experience, ideally I would get my PRGs strictly within a Debtors Anonymous context. And I might get an action meeting specifically within the Under Earners Anonymous context. And I might get a prosperity team meeting specifically within the Financial Under Earners Anonymous context. But I'll tell you, there have been times where I've recruited members from Al-Anon and Alcoholics Anonymous and maybe SLAA because they were open and willing to do service, and they were receptive to the idea of working with me within a small team so that we could develop this spiritual group conscience and invite in a higher power that would help us to channel power so that each of us in the team could absorb this spiritual power, fortify ourselves, and then each of us can use it in the way that we specifically need to for our own particular purpose. There are many other variations on having a pressure relief group. For example, you could have an SPRG, which stands for Sexual Pressure Relief Group. And basically it's a PRG to help you deal with issues around sex, dating, and relationships. So of course, the two candidates that you would ask to be a part of your PRG team ideally would have some background in recovery with fellowships that address sex, dating, or relationships. You might also ask for a FPRG, a Food Pressure Relief Group. And that kind of PRG would help you to develop your spiritual program around your food and eating life. And ideally, the candidates you choose to help you will have a background perhaps in Overeaters Anonymous or See How. So, in general, everybody that you choose to be a part of your team has a background in some kind of way with the issue or the topic that you're trying to work through, and they're spiritually available and open to helping you. So when it's time for you to get your PRGs specifically to help you get your job, what I recommend is to use this strategy of getting 4 PRGs over the course of 1 month. So what that actually looks like is to get 1 PRG every single week, week after week, for 4 weeks in a row. Every time I've worked with somebody and we've used that strategy, it has always worked that by the end of the process, they have a job. My own experience about, let's say 14, almost 15 years ago, is I was struggling with getting full-time work. I had a part-time job, ironically working as a bouncer in a nightclub, and it was a prosperous job, but it was only a few nights a week, and I needed more well-rounded employment, specifically a full-time job that was stable and had benefits. But I didn't know how to bridge the gap from where I was to where I wanted to be, and I knew I needed help. So at that time, I reached out within the Debtors Anonymous Fellowship and was able to get 2 gentlemen. So again, that was 2 men, not a woman and a man, but 2 men. It's just about who was available and willing to do service, which is why I gave you that suggestion. So anyways, I got 2 gentlemen, and they met with me every Sunday for 1 month straight. And before the month was out, really, after my 3rd PRG, so that's 1 PRG a week for 3 weeks in a row, after that 3rd week, right in the middle of it, I got a job, a full-time job, and I still work at that job, and it's been about 14 years now. And when I went for my 4th PRG, I was able to report to my PRG team, I've got a job. It's a full-time job and it has benefits. So mission accomplished. But at that point, now that I had a job and I had already had 4 PRGs in a row where my team was helping to channel earning power and channel it in a way that I could absorb that earning power to fortify myself and give me courage and confidence so I could go out into the world and do some job interviews and turn in my resume and show up on time, dressed well, presenting myself well, and letting the prospective employers know that I'm ready and available to do service for pay, but I'm ready to be of service and to join the team. How can I be of service and when can I start? And eventually, I got into a job that they offered me a position that day. The day that I interviewed, they hired me on the spot. So when I went back to my PRG team, again, I had had my third PRG and was then hired on the spot at this job. For my fourth PRG, I was able to show up and say, hey, I got a job. This is great. Now what do I do? And my PRG team helped me to then put together a spending plan as well as an earning plan, so that now that I had the job, I would have a clear idea about how to manage my cash flow, the money coming in and the money that would be needed to go back out in my expenses. So step by step and increment by increment, my PRG team helped me to build this job, to build this career, and to build a path or trajectory for myself that would last over 14 years now. And I met with that PRG team for about 18 months total. And that procedure has helped me enormously, and it's the same procedure that I walk the people that I sponsor through, especially if they're trying to get a job, if they have no job at all and they want to get a job, or if they have a part-time job and they're trying to get to a full-time job, or even if they have a full-time job but they're trying to figure out how to take the raw material of their full-time job and transform it into becoming a prosperity job. And usually what happens as they do that is they end up getting a promotion and a significant raise, or maybe they develop a new job within the company where they already work, and then they become this job visionary. They create a job from scratch that is best suited for them, and they can offer it to that company for whom they already work, and then that job takes them in a completely unexpected and wonderful trajectory, and that becomes their new career path. So if you find yourself in a position where you are underemployed or unemployed, or employed in a way that you just don't feel great about, and you see so much potential, so much openings for possibilities and opportunities, and you need help to make that happen, and you realize inside of yourself that you just don't have the power to propel yourself into this new work orbit, then what you need are a couple of booster rockets to help push you up into that new orbit. And getting a PRG or building some kind of small team in recovery to support you is going to be just the thing that is going to help you to gather that power, to channel that power, to create and hold the space for healing and recovery, so that you can take the power, that earning power, and the healing, put them together, and use it as rocket fuel to propel yourself out into the world to get the job that you need. Spiritually, your higher power and earning power will start preparing the job to receive you. So again, as you prepare yourself and the job is being prepared and both of you start to be brought together, it becomes a match made in recovery. Now's the time for sharing. Who'd like to take a share? In the comment section below, please leave a positive, non-offensive comment sharing your experience, strength, and hope about what is it like when you can gather together a small group or a team to help channel more earning power to help you achieve a goal or a purpose that you desire. It may be a new job, it may be a vision, it may be a vacation. Whatever your goal is, whatever your plan is, how did you use a small group or team to help you achieve it? So please show your support of this channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell so that you can be notified every time Financial UA posts a new video, and you can be one of the first people to see it. Finally, do consider giving us a big thumbs up for service.
As we move towards closure, please visit us at www.financialua.org or email us at financialua@gmail.com. Let's close with our prosperity prayer. God, grant us a serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, the wisdom to know the difference, and the prosperity
to afford it. Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for joining us and helping us to create and hold this space for healing and recovery. Please help us carry the message by subscribing to our channel and maybe sharing this video with others. And most important, keep coming back. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks.
God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, wisdom to know the difference, and the prosperity